Hello, beautiful beings. Welcome in and welcome to the reset. We are here today to soothe, soothing the body, the nervous system, and the mind. This is going to be a short session with a bunch of tools. We're going to show a little bit of extra love to our shoulders today. So always move at your own pace. Skip anything that doesn't feel good in your body. And just make sure you're as comfortable as possible. Give yourself permission to move around or shift at any point if that is needed. So let's begin today by just starting actually connecting to our shoulders a little bit. We're going to take 3 deep breaths where we inhale the shoulders up towards the ears, and then on an exhale, drop the shoulders with a big sigh. Let go of any tension. So 3 times, inhaling the shoulders up towards the ears. Drop them with a big audible sigh. Release. 2 more. And 1 more. Just make a few circles up and back, bringing the shoulders up, maybe thinking of massaging your spine with your scapulas, opening up the heart space, saying hello to the shoulder joints. And then let's invite in the physiological sigh. So this is a double inhale through the nose, and then an immediate exhale out of the mouth, slow and controlled. Double inhale through the nose, always moving at your own pace. Slow exhale out of the mouth. Few more just like that. And turning to a neutral breath. Let's do one exercise for the vagus nerve. We're going to get back into the vagus nerve again a little bit later. Let's find this ridge across the middle of the ear and give it a pinch with your thumb and index. So ridge across the middle of the ear, give it a pinch, and you're just going to wiggle up and down, loosening up connective tissue around the vagal branch. And then moving back and forth. And then still holding and making figure eights. Moving on to the other side whenever you feel ready. Ridge across the middle of the ear, holding on with your thumb. You can already check in with the breath. And then back and forth. And figure eight. Relaxing the hands down. This is really where the magic happens in these exercises, is just giving the body a moment to integrate. So hands down, shutting down the eyes if that feels safe in your body, just taking a couple of breaths. All right, while we're saying hello to the vagus nerve, let's do a cranial nerve release. So you're going to grab your earlobe, you're going to pull down and then a little bit outwards, and finally can move up a bit. So a bit like the shape of a J. So just getting a good hold of the earlobe, pull down, you know your limit. We want a nice stretch there, but we don't want pain. Pulling out to the side, a little bit up. We're just freeing up the space where so many of our cranial nerves pass through. I kind of go a few times because my fingers tend to slip off. So if you've got a good hold, you can also just do it the once. Let's move to the other side, grabbing your earlobe, pulling down, outwards, and then finally a little bit up. And releasing down. Let's start with our first acupressure point of the day, GV20, governing vessel 20, very top of the head. You could also come to the top of your ears and see where they meet at the top. Very top, the crown of the head, you can push in with direct pressure. You can massage in little circles. You can tap with your fingertips. This is a great acupressure point to calm the mind and release stress. And maybe now just checking in with the jaw. Is the jaw feeling relaxed? Is there a little bit of space between the upper and lower teeth? One more deep breath here. Maybe some fingertip taps. And then let's just show a little bit of love to our hands as we're going to be using them as tools throughout the practice. Palm up, holding your hand with the other hand. Extend the arm and then lift up with a little bit of resistance from the hand that's holding to shoulder level. Arm comes across the body, head to the opposite side, and breathe into that stretch. And coming back slow and steady, gently releasing and moving on to the other side. Palm up, holding your hand with the opposite hand. Extend the arm, lift up to shoulder level. Arm comes across the body, head to the opposite side, and breathe into that stretch. Slow and steady, coming back to center. Wake up our hands a bit, just shooting your fingers out. Get that energy flowing, get that chi flowing. They might tire pretty quickly. Keep going and pushing through, just waking everything up. And then let's just shake it out. Shake out any stagnant energy, anything you're holding on to, you're ready to get rid of. Maybe a couple audible sighs. Okay, let's just take a moment to connect to the breath a little bit. First, just observing, noticing. And then let's inhale through the nose and exhale through slightly pursed lips. A few rounds of breath, just connecting. So a nice deep inhale through the nose. Exhaling through slightly pursed lips. Slow, controlled exhale. A few more rounds. Inhale through the nose, maybe thinking of the ribs expanding. Exhale through pursed lips. One more just like that. And coming back to the natural breath. So, as always, let's show our jaws a bit of love, a place that many people carry tension or wake up with tension. Can be kind of a container for stress, the jaw. So, let's move some of that stress through. Let's rub the palms together, creating some warmth. And then taking your fingertips and just tapping all over the jaw, waking things up, stimulating, helping oxygen flow. And then we're going to take our B hands. You can have either your index or your Star Trek hands. And you're just going to massage up both sides of the ear. You can play with the amount of pressure. You can play with the speed. Maybe you're really thinking of pulling down close to the ear. And then let's open the jaw wide and stretch the jaw from side to side. Just notice what shows up. Maybe there's a bit of a difference from the left to the right. Make big circles in one direction and the other direction. And then we're going to help get rid of any tension in the jaw by taking our knuckles in front of the ear and dragging down just above the mandible, coming across our masseter, thinking of any tension there just melting away. Relax the jaw. And moving to the other side whenever you feel ready. Knuckles in front of the ear, dragging down above the jawbone. With whatever pressure feels right, we can always work up to more pressure, but we don't want pain, we don't want strain. And we're going to take our thumbs to the top of the jaw, feeling into these grooves, holding with a bit of pressure. Again, start gently, work your way up, and keep that pressure as you open your mouth wide to full extension, slow and steady as you open and close. This can be quite tender, so keeping the pressure with your thumbs as you open and close. Few rounds, maybe moving the thumbs a teeny bit. And then taking your finger pads, massaging over that area. Massaging over the temples. And then let's massage the vertical part of the jaw, the back of the jaw. All right, let's make our way down into the neck. Let's show some love to our SCM, sternocleidoid mastoid, big muscle on the side of the neck. If you have trouble locating it, the bone behind your ear is your mastoid process, and that will lead you directly into your SCM. So, invitation to freestyle the whole practice. Maybe you're massaging both sides of the muscle. And then we're going to come to where the mastoid process connects to the SCM. So directly under the bone, taking your thumb and pushing in. So mastoid process into your SCM, pushing in with your thumb right there and breathing in here. And then if it feels okay in your body, you can begin to gently tilt your head towards the thumb, keeping it in the same spot. Don't tense up your shoulders, don't tense up your jaw, just breathe in here. Very mindfully coming back up, maybe one more massage in and coming to the other side. So locating your SCM, massaging down both sides. Maybe involving the head a little bit. And then taking your thumb, coming to this connection just under your mastoid process. Pushing in. Ooh, the side is tender for me. Always interesting when we notice differences from one side to the other. Breathe in here, especially if there is a trigger point going on. And then if it feels okay, tilting towards the side of the thumb. Very, very mindfully coming back up. Maybe another little massage into this zone. Let's do my favorite stretch for the front of the neck. So you're going to take your hand over your clavicle, hold with a nice connection, some good pressure, keeping the skin tight, but also the muscles. You're going to start with your head straight, keep that connection there, and then lean your head back and away, feeling a nice stretch into the front of the neck, and breathe in here. Maybe you take your second hand on top, increasing the pressure. I find it really deepens the stretch for me. Again, coming back up very slow and steady and moving to the other side and over the clavicle. Nice connection there, keeping it firm, starting with the head straight and then leaning back and away. Beautiful stretch into the front of the neck. Relax your jaw, relax your shoulders. Maybe you're taking the second hand on top. Once again, slow and steady, coming back up. Let's do another acupressure point, kidney 27. So you're going to come under the clavicle to the inside and pushing in just under the clavicle. You might feel a little bit of a depression there, and that's exactly where we want to be, inside, under the clavicle. Again, can push in direct pressure, can massage in little circles. Breathing in here, kidney 27. This is a nice immunity boost. It's also good to free up tension in the neck and the chest. And especially if acupressure points are tender, just make sure that you're not allowing that to show up as tension within the body. And if there is a tenderness showing up, this often just indicates a blockage on the meridian. So you're already helping by working there. You can come back every day, every couple of days, and see if that tenderness melts away. I encourage you to exhale with audible sighs whenever it feels good in your body. Moving to the other side whenever you feel ready. So under the clavicle, inside, pushing in around 1 to 2 finger widths underneath the clavicle. Little depression, breathing in there, kidney 27. 2 more breaths right here. And gently releasing. We're going to take our palm up again, holding with the other hand again, but this time you are going to bring your arm in towards your chest and then your fingers to the outside and your head to the opposite side, and breathe in here. We're connecting to some of the smaller muscles within the shoulder here, so this can provide a nice release for certain things going on. And then coming back to center, moving on to the other side, palm up, hold your hand, bring the arm in towards your chest, fingers to the outside, head to the opposite side, breathe into that stretch. Gently coming back. Let's show our pec major a bit of love, this beautiful muscle on our chest here. You're going to grab, I like to think of the front of the armpit, so thumb on the chest and fingers underneath. You're going to lift the arm up and grab this muscle. You want to get a good hold here as you then release the arm down and breathe. Could be very intense, maybe it's not so intense, but keep that muscle. And then if it feels okay, you're going to take your other arm and rotate outwards. Coming back and then massaging just about where the thumb was. Again, under the clavicle, but a little bit more towards the shoulder. And then coming to the other side. So lifting the arm, getting a good grip of the muscle, thumb on the chest, fingers into the armpit there a bit, relaxing the arm down. First, taking some nice breaths, allowing that to settle. Could get quite intense on the inhales. And then if it feels okay, taking that arm, rotating outwards. Coming back to center, maybe a couple more rolls of the shoulders. And then I want to wake our tongues up just about every single session together. So we're just going to very simply push your tongue to the roof of the mouth with about 80% power for 10 seconds. This can improve breathing, posture, helps us to be nasally breathing more, which has a lot of health benefits. So pushing your tongue to the roof of your mouth with 80% pressure for 10 seconds, breathing in and out of the nose. Gently releasing, a couple of breaths, and then we'll go for one more round. Maybe in between, just noticing, where is your tongue hanging out in your mouth? A happy tongue is resting on the roof of the mouth. So hopefully yours is there. If not, we'll keep keep working with our tongues and make sure that it's happy. One more round, thinking of the front, the middle, and the back of the tongue, all pushing towards the roof of the mouth. 80% pressure, 10 seconds. Let's go. Gently releasing, coming back to your natural breath. All right, let's show a little bit of more love to our vagus nerve. We're going to start by waking it up by doing the Vili breath. This is an exhale where you're trying to make the sound of a foghorn. So inhale in whatever way feels good in your body. I like to inhale through the nose. Voo on the exhale. Voo. Always moving at your own pace. A few more rounds. Voo breath, stimulating the vagus nerve. Voo. 2 more. Voo. 1 more. So a very simple way to connect to your vagus nerve. Now let's do a couple exercises working indirectly and directly on the vagal branch. So we're going to start with stretching our ears, thumb behind the ear, index finger inside. Do a wiggle test, make sure you have a good grip, and then stretch the ear directly away from the head. Breathe in here. Check in. Can you relax your jaw a bit more? Are your shoulders relaxed? Is your heart space open? If you yawn, that's a good sign. Make it a big one. And then we're going to release, and we're going to think of stretching and massaging 3 places of the ear: top, middle, lower part of the ear. So just stretch, nice circles. Knead in with the fingertips. And then the middle of the ear, stretching. And then the lower part of the ear. Earlobe tug for good luck. And moving on to the other side, thumb behind, index finger, getting a good grip. Wiggle test. Stretch directly away from the head and breathe. And then again, massaging the top of the ear, stretching, making some nice circles. Middle part of the ear. And lower part of the ear. Earlobe tug for good luck. Relaxing the hands, shutting down the eyes if that feels okay, and just allowing a couple breaths to integrate and receive. All right, one more exercise for the vagus nerve. We're going to come back to this ridge across the middle of the ear and take the pad of the index finger to find the groove just above. So ridge across the middle of the ear, finding the groove just above, and making some nice gentle circles, more thinking of moving the skin around rather than pushing too hard, just sending sensory input to the nerve, letting the body know we are safe. Gentle circles in the other direction. And moving to the other side whenever you feel ready. Ridge across the middle of the ear, index finger to the groove just above, gentle circles. Checking in with the jaw, checking in with the shoulders. And gentle circles the other direction. Gently releasing, again, just one moment to receive. And then let's come to CV17. This is my go-to acupressure point when I'm overwhelmed or anxious or need help getting to sleep. So you're going to come to the very base of your sternum bone, very bottom. And then you're going to measure up 4 finger widths and push in with the thumb right in the center. You can move around a little bit, see if there's a zone that's a bit extra tender. So bottom of the sternum, 4 finger widths up, pushing in with the thumb right in the center. You could take your other hand for a bit more pressure and just breathing in here. Inception vessel 17, very center of the yogic heart space. Thinking of breathing healing light into the heart space and inviting any heaviness, any tension there to release. One more nice deep breath here. On the exhale, gently releasing. Let's bring one hand to the heart space and the other hand behind the neck. Just breathe here for a moment, holding your body, noticing how the breath shows up in your hands. Inviting those inhales to be expansive, but also slow and relaxed. And keeping that hand on the heart space, other hand coming to the belly. And as you sit here connected to yourself, I invite you to express to yourself something you are feeling grateful for in this moment, whatever shows up for you. Thank you guys so much for resetting with me. Hope to sit with you again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, babe.